Hello and welcome to the season finale of season 2 of Book of Saints. It is the finale, but not much has changed in terms of players raising my blood pressure, uh, giving me aneurysms and small heart attacks. So that's very cool, and I appreciate that a whole lot. With that being said, let's meet the source of my medical issues, our players.
Hey there, Jason doing once more, here to raise, heart problems and hopefully see if I live or die. Well, half live, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Hello, everybody. It's me, your boy, at AVERY on all the social media platforms. And this evening, I will be playing the Slick Serpent EREBUS Kai once again, and potentially for the last time.
Hey, it's me, you know, Edge the Nomad or Edge Survival playing trade. Um, yeah, it's a fun time.
Hello again, everybody. Warren here playing Victor BELLSHANE, found wherever you can try to find me as the demons within. I'm ready for whatever tonight has in store.
Hello, everybody. I'm as I was on the social media, because I think I'm funny. And tonight I will be playing the disputed Prince of Mexico City, Fiorenza SOVANA. I have to say it. I can die now. That's fine.
You got to say it. You got to do the thing. However, I don't know if death is in your future, but I don't know whose death is in anyone's future. So I guess we'll have to see tonight on this episode, again, this finale of Book of Saints. We begin each episode as we always do, as we always have done, with a recap. Victor, if you kindly.
So last time we finally got our shit together and stormed the castle with our genius plan given to us by oh Jesus, Erebus Kai. We snuck in everybody except for Victor, who was staked. Entered into, I guess the best word for it is the throne room. Um, had some music we shouldn't have had playing in the background last session. That was interesting. And began to fight despite Forenza's pleas to talk. Because fuck talking. She's a pain in our ass. She began opening up her boxes of terror. The first one containing Derek. The second one containing a blood-starved Ravnos, our friend Felix. And the third one is still a mystery. And we fucked up her sheriff. That's about it. Oh, also this room's bright as shit and somebody needs to get the damn lights.
Indeed. Although I feel like please to talk is a very strange word choice. I'm not sure if Forenza would agree, but I suppose that's what we're here to figure out what the topic of discussion is, how the general vibe here is. We begin right where we left off, in the midst of negotiations, we'll call them. Now, Forenza, I believe we closed out on you opening the third box, if I'm not mistaken.
Fiorenza was standing next to the box, and was going to open the third, depending on the next course of action. Because
Understood.
she had just released Felix.
Well, let's find out the next course of action. Felix is crawling out of the crate he put him in. Blood starved, very near whitedom, let's be very clear here. As well, Derek is, did you cast him aside, or is he still in your grasp?
Oh no, I'm still holding him. He's useful
Understood.
for now.
For the rest of you, Renz is assessing your next moves. You have, in this moment, multiple pieces of the puzzle. What is your intentions? I would like to start with the one unseen who might be searching for another unseen piece of the puzzle. Erebus, what are your intentions?
To find and cut the power.
Go ahead and give me... Why don't you do me a favor? Eyes of the Serpent, what does it give you?
Allows you to see in the dark, and when you lock eyes with someone, it stops them, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I'd like you to take make me a wits and awareness roll, or rather a wits and investigation roll. What is that specialty that you have?
Drawing conclusions.
Go ahead and take an extra die for your specialty.
6 successes, no criticals.
6 successes, no criticals. This room is very carefully planned out. It's not so much as a light switch that would be able to be reached in this room, but there is a source, there is a way to turn this off. You need to find where the wires run to, and you trace the amount of electricity, the amount of cabling that would need to be going through. It's likely kept in an opposite room whenever you came up the stairs. This is, for all intents and purposes, a penthouse. There will likely be another room that acts as a sort of hub, almost like a breaker box. You would need to leave the room in order to switch off the lights.
Then we go searching. Slip
Go
out.
searching. You slip out. Vanish doesn't require you to not interact with your surroundings. So this is relatively easy, especially in the chaos of this. I would like... Let's hold off on that part for now. But you do slip out. Friends, I have a very important question for you. How many soldiers are now pulled in the hallway after hearing the gunshots?
Probably, if I remember correctly, there's about 14 of them. Plus the
mixture.
security detail.
A mixture of mortals and very specially selected ghouls. You slip out, Erebus. Streaming out of the stairwell are a number of individuals. You can tell from the breath. They do breathe. They are living, or at the very least, mortal in a sense. Some of them may be ghouled. Some of them seem less winded than others. This is likely a mixture of ghouls and just very specialized individuals.
Erebus will flatten themselves up against the wall, and we'll try and move around them.
Give me dexterity and stealth.
Now, would my go-to-ground specialty, or my go-to-ground merit from the Church of Set, help here? Because it allows you to add a dice to avoid being pursued.
I would certainly say so, yes.
7 successes, 4 of them being a crit.
Easily done. You move, kind of weaving through them. In fact, with 4 of them being a crit, you can, with this, kind of pick out who's the ghoul, who's the mortal. You can see from the sweat, there are those that are more confident than others. Some of these will be easy to tear through. Others will likely have been selected and sort of crafted, in a sense, with the gift of fortitude in order to bolster their strength and their resilience. But you pick out who will be the biggest threats, who will be the most confident, who could probably be scared into submission, so on and so forth. But you maneuver.
I think as I get into that last room, the closest one, I'm just going to whisper out into the air. Look. And try and pull him away and into the room with me, if he'll follow.
a great number of successes on your stealth. You are not noticed. This individual can place your hand over their mouth, their nose, drag them in. With that, we're going to hold on you for a moment. The rest of you, seen by FIORENZA SOVANA, what are your intentions as she assesses you?
I'm gonna see what Boss Man does first.
So we see Felix coming out of the box, right? Or maybe not Felix, but something coming out of this box, right?
I would say that with your familiarity with Felix, it's definitely Felix. It's a version of Felix you haven't seen quite yet, but yes, that's Felix, or the creature that is the remnants of Felix, yes.
And this box is roughly how far from the desk?
I would say, well, FIORENZA, you correct me if I'm wrong, I would say possibly 5, maybe 6 feet away.
Yes.
But whenever you entered, as a reminder, FIORENZA was not seated at the desk. FIORENZA was seated on top of one of the crates.
Not worried about that. And the sheriff stepped in
You should
between
be.
me and FIORENZA,
Mm-hmm.
so she's in front of the desk, correct?
Between you, as you had originally went for FIORENZA, and because we are using Theater of the Mind, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I envisioned you stepping around the desk and her stepping between. So you've kind of aligned with the desk at this point. The sheriff being between you and FIORENZA. Hence, in the same respect, between you and the crates.
Cool. I want to try to kind of Sparta kick the sheriff at the crate Felix is coming out of.
Understood. I have your intention. Let's have Jason's and Trey's. Whoever would like to go first.
I intend to do nothing.
To what end, Trey?
What you mean to what?
You wish to do
Today.
nothing?
Yeah, to the end of the scene.
Interesting. Jason.
I would like to observe this situation for a moment. Certain details to look out for, I guess. One, did they keep hold of their shotgun when he? Okay, well, we'll see. One thing I'm checking out for if they drop that shotgun when they get Sparta kicked. Two, is there like devices being held, and are these actually just wooden boxes, or is there going to be crates? Like, I'm checking sort of details, see if there's electronics that I should be looking out for, or weapons, details like that.
Well, while I and Victor settle the score on this Spartan kick, FIORENZA, you may feel free to describe the setup of the crates. You've described the setup of the room, and beautifully, I might add. But Jason has questions about the crates. You yourself, I'll give you the if there's anything that you might think that they might need a roll for a very rare occasion, I will allow you to ask for a wits and awareness roll. Yes, Trey, what can I do for you?
I would also like to add, if allowed, if the sheriff is kicked, because I'm up there with the sheriff, right? Hand to hand. If the sheriff is kicked, I would like to slowly walk towards their direction. Yeah. But outside of that, no.
Or
I'll
whose
do
direction?
nothing. Wherever the sheriff was kicked at.
Okay.
The third box, Felix? Yeah, I'll walk over there.
Okay. FIORENZA, please, if you'd kindly. Victor, let's
So-
have a roll of... I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Go for the rolls first, and we'll go from there.
Victor, a roll of...
Strength and brawl.
I think that is fitting, yes. Trey, you have another question.
No, I just trying to raise your blood pressure.
It's
So,
working.
So, the boxes are kind of set up in a U shape, kind of like FIORENZA's desk would have been. But it definitely has been removed from this room. to make room for these boxes. They are big enough, obviously, to hold a body. They're well crafted. If you're taking a look at them and kind of actually take a minute, the third box, they're made out of wood. It looks like she took time and effort to have these made so that they were sturdy, and it looks like they're lined. The one that's still open, if you actually took a look at it, there's more papers. The one that Derek came out of. And then Felix's were definitely chained. It looks like there was a mechanism to try and kind of keep him inside. I'm not
Jason,
exactly
this is what you
sure
see.
Jason's like insight. If you had to put like a dice number on it for random reasons, what would that be?
His insight would, in a very theoretical sense, might be a 2.
2? These boxes can hold a lot of shit and were made to carry very heavy objects.
See. Does it look like they are reinforced besides wood?
With metal. At least on the inside of Felix's.
Do I happen to notice you're like holding an electronic trigger of any kind?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
She's
Alright.
just holding Derek with that nice folder still taped to his chest.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. Alright.
Victor, the result of your roll.
So I did all the things.
What kind of
I roused the
things?
blood,
Mm-hmm.
and I succeeded on the rouse check, and I willpower re-rolled. And I have 9 successes.
8 successes. You kick her. With a margin of 1, with the intention just to force her back, she's going to keep hold of her shotgun. With the force of the kick, the shot that she was aiming at you is going to go wide. You're going to feel flames almost graze the side of your body, Victor. With that being said, I'd like you... What is your hunger level, first of all?
2.
2. Not particularly hungry, however, that is close proximity to flame. And there has been a number of shots already fired off. I'd like you to make me a fear frenzy.
Can I roll a fear frenzy? I'm right there too.
That makes sense. By all means.
Sweet.
Does the I forget exactly what all it does and how long it lasts, but the fire dance we did, does that still apply or is that long gone?
Well, you tell me what the fire dance does.
Oh, Jesus, man. Alright, hang on a second here.
How dare I expect you to remember the buffs that you gave yourself? For shame, storyteller, for shame.
What do you
What do
mean
I
you have to
roll
keep
for?
track of you only have to keep track of the world, Gilbert. Like, come on.
I know I'm selfish.
Yeah.
Very.
We agree. What do we roll on fear frenzy?
It's your
8.
unspent willpower and a third of your humanity.
Oh.
The fire, well, that's Firewalker.
I'm sorry, that wasn't you.
unusual.
I'm not the STM.
No, I appreciate the help. I'm again, keeping track of the world. So, by all means. Yes, Jason. What can I do for you?
Continuing that, does that round up or round down?
That rounds down. Since there was an attempt made there, Jason, but no. Alright, for your fire dance. You healed 1 aggravated willpower at the right's completion. Reduced by 1 status flaw. If you didn't get burned. Reduces the shunned flaw to suspect.
And the wrong book.
A Sabbat Canite can... a Sabbat Canite burned during the fire dance can automatically resist or ride the wave of terror, frenzy, Rotschreck, as long as they retain 1 aggravated wound that was inflicted by the rite. This benefit also extends to the pack as long as they are in their presence. The benefit fades once the aggravated wound is healed or at the end of the story. None of you were burned during the fire dance.
Backfire.
Successes and failures, positives and negatives, pros and cons. This is the name of the game, Victor.
Alright, so it's just all of our unspent willpower, right?
plus a third of your humanity. What is your humanity?
You get 1 dice.
Yeah, we're all at 4.
I'm at 3.
That's because you went from being a conscious human being to a filthy savage animal. You're welcome. I got 3 successes.
Oh, I got 5.
5. Well, luckily, Victor, it's not the end. Trey, you resist. You are able to force down your beast. Victor, however, you need to do something here. You need to either spend willpower or you're going into frenzy.
Well, I'm not going to run away from Fiorenza, so I really only have one choice here.
Understood. And this, I must be very clear here. You're going to go into frenzy. It's just a matter of when. This is to stave off for the turn. You'll be needing to do this every turn.
And that spending willpower is aggravated damage, right? Or is it
No,
just superficial?
It's just like spending a point of willpower for your rerolls, for your willpower rerolls. It's superficial, but that adds up quite a lot.
Yo.
So, Renza, you were assessing the situation. Jason has stopped and kind of assessed as well. Trey has moved in. Victor has kicked your sheriff into the entryway of the box that Felix is climbing out of. He has his hand reached out, grabbing at her stomach. He's coming out of the box. But now he has a fresh new toy. If she's not careful, this could be very well her end. This is the scene that's laid before you, Fiorenza. So I ask you once more what your intentions are having all this laid out to you.
So, since Felix is still in the box and we're right behind it, she takes and she places her hand on the lid where she can hit the button where it would snap shut automatically and trap Felix again. And just looks at Victor.
Didn't see that coming, did you, bitch?
So, are we going to actually talk, or are you still against talking with the Camarilla? That's not exactly what I've heard from Lilith and Seelan, but I have places to be. I might have mispronounced. Celine? Yeah, I got it right. Well, thank you.
You can tell by the
Uh-huh.
reactions.
Yes, no, yeah. From what I've heard from Celine Lilith. You do know how to speak.
I have no interest in talking to you.
Shame. Oh well. And she removes her hand from where she could shut at Felix on again. And kind of goes to head towards Derek's box.
Yes, Victor.
Does Felix not get a contested roll since you said his arm was already outside of the box?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Fiorenza, you chose not to block him in, correct?
Oh no, yeah, there's no conversation, so they can deal with him while I move on to plan D.
Okay, just making sure. I thought you closed it.
No
Nope,
contested roll
she
needed.
thought about it.
Excellent. Another round of questions. Let's begin again with EREBUS. You have a captive. You find yourself in another room. You have a captive.
Yeah, I'm gonna drain him and make him.
Takes some time. Not terribly long, but making him will take time. You can, of course, just feed him your vitae and leave him if you wish.
I'm gonna feed him my vitae and then figure out how to cut the power to the room.
Wits investigation, please. Take the extra die again for your specialty, please.
And I do have to take a point of hunger, yes? Because it has to be at least 1 point of blood.
It would be a rouse check.
Okay.
So not entirely guaranteed.
So
that
I
you
will
hunger.
get hungrier.
Excellent. Bringing you to what level of hunger?
2.
2. Serpent coils.
9 successes, 4 of which are a crit.
Excellent. I turn this over to FIORENZA. We'll sort of tag team this as we both have an image and a description for this. This is your home. The carefully laid out room. This was supposed to be a conversation. The power source, of course, is not kept. You can't have them just switching off of a light switch and then ending negotiations. But as EREBUS is looking for the source, tracing where the cords and cables might be going over to, where would that sort of kill switch be located?
Well, the mortal who set it all up said something about overloading the system, having to have a substation. So it's all just in the room right below us. You can see that the cables line in. It's locked, but not suspiciously so.
Mm.
It's to make sure that we have all the power we need, but if they cut it, well, they cut it, and we just move on to the next plan.
Indeed. EREBUS, this is what you see. You see a number of cables that have kind of... This room that you're currently in is not entirely finished. It's almost as if it wasn't bothered to be carpeted or given wallpaper, or the fancy bits and baubles of Ventru's accoutrement. This is very much a worker's room. This is a place where the cables run a little bit more free. You can see them running down below. There is a locked sort of hatch, almost. It dawns on you as you're drawing these conclusions that this would draw a lot of power. This would require a lot from the building itself. So there would need to be a substation that it draws from directly, but if you know FIORENZA that she wouldn't trust a substation out there down amongst the rabble, no, this would be close by. This would be just beneath your feet. And you think back to office buildings, to control rooms, to control towers for airports and maintenance operations centers and things like that, with the hollow floors where all the cables and the electricity runs. The substation is beneath your feet. It's hollow. It's well masked in the room that FIORENZA and your pack are in, but this is a little more easy to see. There are panels, it's all hollow beneath your feet. The hatch will lead into that, and it likely has a number of cables and wires, a crawl space that you could find the maze through and get to the ultimate end-all kill switch. Or you could just start cutting cables. It's entirely up to you.
The gun that this soon-to-be childer had, what was it?
MP5.
I'll just take it and start cutting wires with bullets. I don't need to get to the generator, I just need to stop the flow.
Understood. I would like a wits and awareness roll from FIORENZA.
What's my... Oh, that's right. Well, bye-bye, intern. That's a werewolf die. Let's just not. Wrong game.
Or is it the right game?
That's the huge secret. FIORENZA has been a werewolf the entire time. That would be fucking wild. Wits and you said wits and insight or wits and awareness?
Wits and awareness. I think that's more apt.
To rouse the blood for that. Oh god. Okay, I've made that. 5 successes.
5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Carefully and with keenest attention to detail, you've designed this room. You know the layout of it. You know every corner that should be dark, every bit and piece that should be well lit, which is to say, all of it. These aren't.
There's only a couple lamps that are still attached to like the actual power.
Mm-hmm. This isn't like the fluorescent lighting in schools or a Walmart. This isn't something that will flicker or that sort of wobbles and glows. This should be a steady flow in a perfectly lit room. One of the panels, one of the difficult to look at when an intense source of light does sort of glitch, flickers for just a moment. You catch it.
I think it might be high time that Derek makes a call to the people who are located within the folder.
Understood. What are everyone's intentions? Erebus, you are cutting through the cords and cables. You're causing havoc. The fruits of your labors will be heard very soon. What about the rest of you?
Just to clarify, how far away am I now
From
from
FIORENZA?
FIORENZA?
Given that FIORENZA has made an active effort to move away from you toward the third crate, if I'm not mistaken, has Derek in her arms. You could reach her in this turn, but it depends on, well, the loyalty of the sheriff, I suppose.
I'm going to use Soaring Leap to get on the other side of FIORENZA.
I see. Detail Soaring Leap. Let's make sure we get this right.
The user can jump a number of meters equal to 3 times their potence level vertically and 5 times their potence level horizontally.
Which is quite a long ways either way you cut it. This is a celerity ability, correct?
This is a potence ability.
Potence
I'm at
ability.
3 potence.
Excellent. Then, unfortunately, Victor, this will still be a contested roll, as the sheriff is quite loyal. Despite her own danger where she has a job to do, and that is protect her prince. So, Victor, let's have a dexterity athletics roll. You are active combatants. We'll get to Jason and TREY in the next moment.
I need to roll my rouse check for activating Soaring Leap first.
Yes, please.
Success.
I would also like you to spend another point of willpower if you'd like to avoid watch check.
Yeah. And then you said you wanted what roll for the contestant?
Dexterity athletics, please. Sheriff is going to rouse the blood.
Oh,
Sheriff gets
that
angry.
one's a fail. I am at 3 hunger now. I got 5.
7 with a crit. Double check, because this is a Dragon's Breath round. This is a clean hit, Victor. The margin of 2. This is going to turn what would normally be superficial damage. Because of Dragon's Breath rounds, this is aggravated damage. You're going to take 2 points of aggravated damage. How are you looking, first off?
So we had talked about it last time because I had tried to ask you about Defy Bane. If I'm not mistaken, that is for the scene.
Yes, I remember this very clearly. You had yet to activate it.
Yes, I had tried to. But it is something that you can activate reflexively.
It's a wisdom survival roll. The difficulty is 3 upon receiving aggravated damage. Go ahead and give me that roll.
I'm going to try to rouse the blood again. Success. I got 4.
Then you may activate your power. You will need to activate it with a rouse check.
Failed.
What bring you to what hunger level?
4. I'm bleeding everywhere.
You begin to bleed from the crown of your head, the palms of your hands, and the soles and such of your feet. Christ's wounds take you again, Victor. With this, continue your path, Victor. Do your thing. Jason Trey, again, the blood of an elder is very clearly in your senses. You can smell it, you can practically taste it. I want you to make me a rouse check. We're just going to see if you get hungry. Nothing crazy, just a quick test. Fiorenza, you are unaffected by this. You are above this sort of thing.
And how is Felix looking? Because this was the plan.
Felix, I don't think I'll even bother rolling for.
Okay.
I took
So
2
sorry.
aggravated before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are going to become superficial.
Excellent.
And then I think 1 more aggravated will become superficial, but if I'm reading this correctly. Or can I convert one of the already sustained aggravated to superficial?
This is reflexive when receiving aggravated damage. If the user fails the test, the power does not activate. If they win the test, they must make a rouse check to pay for the power.
The number of damage per scene, not per wound or per attack.
Mm-hmm.
So can I just go ahead and convert 1 now then? Since we're still in the same scene.
I'll allow it, yes. Just for the sake of brevity and keeping things moving, yeah. As a note, I would like to point out, Victor, that you may not heal superficial damage for the rest of this scene.
I can't heal those superficial damage.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Victor's not looking good, by the way, at all. But he's more angry than anything.
And the plan's working.
Did
May
you
I do?
spend your willpower?
Yes.
Excellent. What can you possibly want more of, Victor?
It's a simple, easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm already bleeding everywhere, can I throw it all over the place?
You've activated a power. You've reflexively
You're right.
activated a power.
You're right.
You've leapt across the side from Fiorenza. I'll allow this. This will be a contested roll. Fiorenza, if you don't want the blood of BELLSHANE on you, you absolutely don't. You can
You
absolutely
know
feel
where
free to
I'm
make a
going with
roll.
this.
I'm gonna use Derek to block it. Like,
Entirely fair.
But your sheriff's not.
Victor, I'm gonna allow you this roll. I'm gonna continue along with the scene as you make this roll. I'm gonna grant you this. I'm gonna call this dexterity and
athletics?
I'm also
Because it's like,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
lean toward athletics. While Victor's doing that, Jason Trey, your intentions. He's your soon to be maybe prodigal bishop is bleeding heavily, has leapt across and is now throwing his blood everywhere. You can see Felix is poking out, sniffing the air. The claws sort of digging into the sheriff. The sheriff still holding the shotgun, aiming out now, pointing it toward Felix. What are your intentions?
Well, it's gonna sound controversial, but I'm gonna proceed to quickly try and mag dump into Felix.
Let's call this dexterity firearms.
All right.
Trey?
I would like to try to help the sheriff and urge them to close the crate.
Urging who to close the crate?
The
The
sheriff.
sheriff?
Yeah.
I see.
I will say, theater of the mind wise, during this whole interaction, Trey hasn't been hostile, and so if anything, his intentions were to help the sheriff out if Felix was to get on him and to hopefully have a conversation with him eventually. But yeah,
Understood. I would like you just to go ahead and your choice here. I would imagine persuasion. I'm going to call this manipulation because you're trying to get her to do something that's may not be in her line of thought at the moment. Manipulation, persuasion, manipulation,
you get a
leadership.
hungry frenzy thing at your stomach, and I'm helping you, and it's
Oh.
not in their best interest.
It's not a matter of if it's in her best interest. She's supernaturally loyal, let's call it.
Oh, well, that answered my question. What you
Go ahead
want me
and
to roll?
I will say go ahead and take an extra die. Manipulation and persuasion,
Okay.
or manipulation leadership, entirely your choice.
Manipulation and persuasion. 300. I'm gonna rouse the blood. Can I do that? Yeah. I'm at
Same.
4 hunger.
Same energy as Huddy in Transylvania beckons being like, can I rouse the blood? I'm gonna. Not even waiting for Avery's response.
4 successes.
4 successes. Quite a lot. There's a hesitation in her eyes. You can see that she would, if she could, if she understood how this worked, if she was outside of the box. She doesn't like the situation any more than you do, Trey.
Is that in a sense? So like, she just don't know how.
Well, let's ask FIORENZA. Would you have taught the sheriff?
The sheriff needed to know the entire plan and the contingency plans, so I believe she would know how to actually close the box. And she would know what comes next if Derek starts to make the call.
She doesn't want to be here, Trey. At all. The box seems like the least of her concerns. If she could flee, if she could sort of secret service this and sort of get FIORENZA under her arm and duck and leap out of here and run with FIORENZA, she would. She wouldn't be here anymore.
Can I do? Damn, what did I do? It's not your turn, Jason. Get out of here.
I have all the results.
Oh, I forgot you rolled first. Go ahead.
Yeah, so first I roused the blood. It was a success. And I also used some willpower. And as I said earlier, I'm dumping everything into Felix. I'm pretty much moving towards him, shooting everything. For a total of 16 successes. He's not going to be happy with me.
No, he is not. 16 successes. I'm going to make a defensive roll.
Yeah. That's
Felix, up to this point, has been acting against the sheriff. Now with the blood out and about, is a possible combatant for all of you. I'm going to make a defensive roll. While I do this, Trey, you had questions?
Yeah, I did have questions. I forgot, though. It's okay.
Well, while I make this roll, feel free to reflect on them, and if you find them in your head again, go ahead and let me know.
Slam me into this, man. Oh no, Felix, if you survive, have a good time.
Your rounds are not Dragon's Breath, nor are they Ralphus. These are standard, regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill rounds, correct?
Yes, they are.
As established. You deal some damage to Felix. there's a screech that escapes his throat that betrays everything you know about this sort of carefree, relaxed, almost jovial Canite. The beast is taken over, Jason. And now you've got his attention. So,
Well, I got him off the boss.
we have everyone's actions, I believe. Did I miss anybody? I know, friends, I asked you what you were up to, but I don't know if I got your action necessarily.
She is telling Derek that it's time. And headed towards opening the third box.
There is no roll required, as Derek has been under your care for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Reaches into his pocket, hits a button, and begins to make a phone call. You move. This is all happening all at once as you walk. Victor leaps to the other side of you, FIORENZA, as you reach the box. A spray of blood throughout this place, staining even the ceiling. TREY, you beseech the sheriff to run, to leave, to get out of this box, close the crate, seal Felix in. And to her credit, it's her intention to leave. It's her intention to shut all this away, far away, and depart. Jason, you open fire on Felix again. You have his attention. We move into another round. But before then, we're going to take a brief 5-minute intermission for some tech and bio. We'll see you all very, very shortly for the continuation of this season finale. See you soon. Welcome back. Let's not dally. Let's jump right back into it. So, entering into another round. Let's begin with the outside combatant. Usually this is something we would deal with last, but I have not been, so we're going to keep with that pattern. EREBUS, what are you up to?
Cutting wires, waiting for the kid to wake up.
Excellent. I want you to make me a roll, because I think it's no secret that, especially in older editions, turning someone took a lot longer. It took an entire night. They needed to process the bite. They needed to get things. In V5, and in most stories a lot of us have been a part of, this happens a bit quicker. So with this, let's find out how quick this is going to take. EREBUS, I would like you... I want to hear your argument, because I'm not going to assign a skill and attribute to this necessarily. We're gonna assemble a dice pool together based on who you are, your blood potency, what you are built for, what your whole modus operandi is, what your soul is made for, essentially. What do you think, EREBUS? What is the need here? What are you... Is this fodder? Is this your version of a shovelhead? What is the intention truly behind forming this, turning this man into a kindred?
The main component here is we need hands to deal with these now 13 soldiers that are about to come in the back door. The secondary motivation is because I've just tied it to the Vauldery. I have a conviction to fill. I have to bring others under my sway to increase my influence. And having another child there just makes sense. It increases my influence. It increases the sway that I have if it survives.
You are also, I will say, EREBUS, moving very uncharacteristically quick for you. I think that's an apt description. You are acting rather than reacting. You usually take time to stake out a mark. You usually would take less extreme actions. You would normally be the one to crawl into the crawl space and subtly flip the generator. Everything that you are is stealth and waiting and watching and planning. Doesn't seem to be the case here. You're rushed, I think, EREBUS. Would you agree?
Yeah, the job got botched. Now we have to make do, which is not an uncommon thing for EREBUS. If somebody always comes up with a way to fuck up the plan, but the stakes are a little higher this time.
What is your blood potency, EREBUS? Roll me 5 dice, please.
Messy crit, 4 successes.
Messy critical, 4 successes. And you continue to cut the wires, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like one more roll from you, EREBUS, as you are, again, not entirely being precise, but you have a modicum of, you have control over your actions. You can choose to make choices here. Let's call this wits and whatever you think you need to identify key clusters of cabling and wires.
Investigation.
I like it.
Drawing conclusions bonus die.
Please do. You may, of course, feel free to rouse the blood if you so choose.
Yeah, sure, why not? I will not get hungrier. Now I'll add 3 dice to that roll because of it. 9 successes, also messy crit.
9 successes, also messy crit. We will get to the, well, in just a second, we'll get to the results of that particular roll, but you can see, as you are cutting away the wires to this, there is a sort of shaking, a spasm from the man you have turned. That same hunger, that same quickness relates to this new child. With the messy critical, there's something wrong. It's not fit to really live. It serves as a one-use sort of weapon, and it would likely end up as some sort of ravenous creature. But it begins to claw at its own, well, claw at its own skin, claw at the armor. It's tearing bits and pieces of clothing away. It's hungry, EREBUS.
Good.
It begins to thrash, looking for a source of food. It moves. It's the noise. It still retains some of its mortal instinct. That's gunfire. It's not going to attack you, EREBUS. It's going to rush, find the nearest exit, find the nearest food source. It runs out of the room. You can hear exclamations of concern. Tyler? A shriek, a mixture of a beast and a man, and then gunfire. FIORENZA, you had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I approve. Would you like to share?
So, negotiation didn't work. And I'm tired of all the cleanup. The chest is a secondary backup plan, but it also serves to have all the evidence needed for the call Derek is making. But Derek's gonna take and start grabbing at the folder on his chest, and it's full of pictures, printouts of communications, and whoever answers the line, Derek's going to start screaming about the monsters in the building.
He shrieks the address. He shrieks about the terrors, the monsters, they're real, the vampires are real, they'll take your blood, they're taking Mexico. Now, he starts the address again. He goes on a sort of repetition, like one of his games, one of his video games, just repeating over and over certain lines. You had your particular action you wanted to use, FIORENZA. A very special device that's been in your coat pocket, I believe.
Yes. And as she reaches into her pocket, she bends down to tap the button to open the final coffin, really, and dumps the contents of the bottle that's in her pocket on the body bag inside. And
Please go
I
on,
don't know
please.
entirely how long it's going to take, but she is going to drop Derek's phone next and crack it and grab him and start leaving.
Victor, you are close enough to contest this, if you so choose.
Of course. Also, I got 4 successes for throwing my blood everywhere.
It's everywhere. And with Fiorenza having the intent of just sort of taking it, but also just got Derek in her arms. He's coded. So, what in particular of that description, Victor, would you like to try to contest? This all happens quickly. What would you like to try to stop Fiorenza from doing? Opening the crate, dumping the contents, re-grabbing Derek. There's some choices to be made here. Or do you simply want to grapple her and try to stop it all?
I mean, I was gonna say trip, but yeah, that's even better. I want to try to freaking grab her, spear tackle her.
Fiorenza, your actions, should Victor fail, will come to pass. But this will be contested. You will have to either dodge or break free from this. Victor, a grapple is going to be strength and brawl, I believe. Or, with your particular background way, way long ago, back in like Kindred Come days, determined with your experience with Jiu-Jitsu. Dexterity, brawl. Fiorenza, dexterity athletics, or I'm a very open individual, I'll hear an argument for others. Both of you, of course, may feel free to rouse the blood.
I took my willpower damage too.
Thank you, Victor.
So if he's trying to grab her and Derek's in between them, can she see Victor's eyes?
That, I think, might be an entirely separate role.
Okay.
This is the midst of combat, so let's...
Yep.
Multiple things happening at once. Victor, hold
Yeah.
on to your roll. Lorenzo, you try to catch his eyes. So this will be a contest. What is the contest, Fiorenza?
Compel.
So, for compel. Victor, I would say that in the midst of all this fighting back frenzy, you have an opportunity to contest this. But I'm not going to grant you any special die or anything like that. So this is going to be strictly Charisma Dominate versus Intelligence and Resolve.
Can I rouse the blood?
Of course.
So it's charisma or manipulation and dominate.
It says here Charisma Dominate.
Okay.
Success.
Okay. I'm gonna rouse the blood. And she does get hungrier.
Bringing you to hunger level 2, correct, Fiorenza?
I think 1.
Right, well fed.
They have been a pain.
Understandable.
Keep
I
that to
got
myself.
4.
I got 7.
What is the compulsion you plant on Victor?
Feed. And throw Derek at him.
Victor, you must feed. She speaks with authority, a blend of voices. Her own, a voice you don't recognize, perhaps her sire, perhaps history of Ventru lineage echoes in her throat, but you swear you peek out a command of recognition a voice you hear within you all the time. Maria's voice. Feed. You are tossed a fresh mortal.
Who is still screaming on the phone.
Victor, you feed.
This is gonna sound really fucked up. I'm at 4 hunger and have been told to feed and given a fresh mortal. In this situation, would it be reasonable to say that I would eat as fast as possible?
Would you like to?
No, but I feel like that's what would happen when you're compelled to feed.
I pulled the trigger. No, don't do it.
We'll get to that very shortly.
No.
What? Renza throws Derek at you. Victor, you may do so if you so wish to
If you're
activate.
giving me the choice, I'm not going to.
You've been compelled to feed. I leave this part to you.
He hasn't lost all sense of reason yet. I'm gonna say no.
Entirely fair, but you will feed. In Forenza, your previously mentioned actions will come to pass. As you do this, these are the combatants that are engaged.
So
The
is Jason still
lights.
looking at the boxes? At the
Jason,
chests?
Well, my eyes are currently facing that direction.
This box isn't reinforced.
Uh-oh. I don't like that.
while this is happening, the lights flicker. They dim. The corners go out first. The back corners near the entryway where you had first walked in. There is shadow now. Trey, Jason, your intentions.
Well, I know that Felix is on me. And can I hear the sounds outside the door? Like,
Oh,
or just
yes.
oh, okay.
Yes, that I should make very clear. The gunfire in the hallway, they're easily heard. And rather than just ask your intentions, because there is a whole new combatant, Jason, you're going to be attacked. I should make that very clear as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Do you want me to roll right now something, or do you?
Well, it's really your choice, Jason. You are going to be attacked. You can choose to defend. You can choose to attack in kind. If you choose to defend, you will deal no damage. If you are successful, but you will also take no damage. If you defend and you lose, you will take damage. If you choose to attack, it's really a matter of who wins the roll and who deals damage. Does that make sense?
I see. Okay, so if possible, I would like to insert third option.
Mm-hmm.
Last I remember, he is across the room after eating a lot of bullets
Mm-hmm.
and not seeming to care too much. I would like to effectively open that door and get going.
Run.
Yes. Specifically since I'm considering I'm hearing a lot of gunshots and all that, that probably means a lot of mortal blood. In other words, a lot of things that might distract him is currently the thought process.
I will allow you a dexterity athletics roll. However, this is still a contest because he is still going to attack you.
I see.
He is no longer with us for all intents and purposes. So, this is still a contest. You'll reach the door, open the door. It's just a matter of how much of him he'll take, or how much of you he'll take with him.
Beautiful. I'm going to rouse the blood. I feel fear for my little immortal life. That's a success in the rouse. I believe you said athletics dexterity.
Yes, please.
All right. I'm going to use another willpower. 8 successes.
8 successes. Jason, you
Yes.
run. There is a leap tray past you as Felix leaps from the box, discarding the sheriff, going for the creature that hurt him last. Jason, you reach the door, you open, and you run. Felix is on your heels, but unable to touch you in this turn. You open the door, Jason. There is another horror sight. As you open, there is a creature in body armor, very similar to these combatants. They are opening fire. He is tearing at their flesh with what looks like half-baked fangs, these sort of half-elongated canines, and the eyes that keep alternating between that of mortal irises and that of a snake as he tries to bite and tear, lacking the weapons to do so.
Excellent.
I would like you as well to make me a wits and awareness roll.
Yes, I'd love to do that. If possible, I don't know if possible, I would love to see if I can throw one of these. That's 4 successes. Mortals at the person behind me, or thing behind me at this point.
Given that your turn has already had its action, that was something that will have to happen next turn. With the wits and awareness roll, with 4 successes, you can see on the floor, still connected to a severed hand of one of these individuals, is an iPad. It shows the camera feed from the building. It's under attack. The Sabbat packs are storming. They pay no mind to the masquerade. They are draining everyone in sight. There are individuals here clad in what looks like very, very traditional garb, wearing cloth made from pelts of leopards and panthers, wielding weapons that are from an age long since past, cast of obsidian and wood. This building is surrounded with that. Trey.
Well, Jason bolted out, right?
Correct.
Victor is feeding on Derek.
Correct.
The sheriff and FIORENZA are making their way off somewhere.
Well, the sheriff is riding herself, collecting, taking the turn to, not to give too much mechanics away, taking the full turn to heal and process. FIORENZA has faced Victor and is now preparing the third box, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a shit show. Well then I will reach for Monique. Because she's present, right? Grab at her and then once again urge the sheriff, how do we get out of here?
Manipulation, persuasion, Trey.
I'll rouse the blood too. Success. You sure you don't want me to use charisma?
I'd allow it.
You allow it? Oh, wow. It's because we're about to die, huh? 4 successes.
She looks at you and glances over at FIORENZA and Victor, sees the chaos going on in the corridor, looks to Monique. Wild-eyed, you can see the wounds that have been caused have closed. Not all of them, but she's mending. She says, "There is no out of here. It was surrender or all of you die. This whole building is dead."
Oh, well. Now I'll pull the trigger.
Go ahead and give me a... What type of weapon do you wield, Trey?
What type of weapon?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about the trigger for for the rat bombs,
Mm.
micro explosions.
No roll required. This button. Nothing immediately happens.
Press it again.
No immediate reaction just yet.
Oh shit. We have to get out of here. I'm gonna pull Monique and try to make our way to Victor.
Understood. Another round. This here will be quick. A penultimate sort of round. As a lot of things are going to come crashing down. So, for the second to last time, EREBUS, your intentions.
This room with the wires and stuff in there, is there windows in here?
In this particular room, it's essentially a... You would need to keep this place cooled. So it's say normally no, there wouldn't be a window or anything like that. However, again, this is a penthouse. This is not the only two rooms in this space.
Did I see any other exit to the room that we went in where Fiorenza was waiting?
From what I understand of the description, Forenza, this was a one entrance sort of room, correct? So just the one entrance from where you guys entered. There are other places down the hall. This is a think old-timey sort of layout where it's hallways and rooms, hallways and rooms.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the stairwell, leap over the rail, and activate Weight of a Feather.
You do this. You move through the chaos. There are combatants in the stairwell, EREBUS, as you drift further down. Sabbat packs and ghouls. Camarilla supporters. This is a war zone. And you drift.
I think the thought will dawn on EREBUS for a moment. Just silently into himself in his own mind. All of this blood I shed for you, our dark father Sutek. Their numbers needed to be thinned, both sides. To see your signs, they made too much mud in the water. Now I will find you. Now the work begins.
And indeed, both sides will be thinned tonight. You drift, EREBUS. For your part, you've done quite a lot. You see, as you drift down, it does look like a war zone. Not just from the combatants, there are holes blasted in the walls. They look like they've exploded from the inside. There's war all around. And you drift. Lorenza and Victor, you are close. Trey, you will declare your intentions after these two, as you are moving in with Monique. Lorenza, Victor, what are your intentions?
As long as I fed, the compulsion is satiated, right?
You needed a drink? That's correct.
So 1 point of hunger should be enough. Or do I even need to slake any hunger for the sake of speed?
You would need to take a point, yes.
And I can do whatever at this point, or I would still be feeding during this turn.
You would be ending feeding. Takes time to drain, but a single point would be adequate for a turn.
Where did she go? I can see everything going on around, everybody running, right?
Well, it depends, Lorenzo. What are your intentions?
As soon as The ingredients have been put together like the Thin Bloods said it would work. Once it starts whistling, it's time to take and get in the box.
Oh, so she's still right next to me.
She's getting in a box. That's correct.
I want to try to spear her again with my eyes closed.
I will say, Victor, you don't necessarily need to close your eyes. You know now what she's capable of. You are prepared for this. You can keep your eyes cast down. It's eye contact that's the key.
Looking at her feet.
There. A contest from Victor and FIORENZA. And Trey, I'll hear your intentions now if you'd like to do anything that might add some dice to Victor's roll.
So what are you hitting her with?
I'm tackling you.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, at this point, not really. Yeah, you know, what is it? The vision is dark. It's hard to see.
There are shadows in the corner,
The
showing that
shadows in the
EREBUS
corner.
has somehow cut some of the power.
There ain't no openings. There ain't no explosions in the room. Nothing. No walls.
Not
It's
in the
starting
immediate
to
vicinity,
get
no.
very hot near where that third box is.
Um. Yeah. If that's the case, if Victor is going in, yeah, no, I'm in the mindset of we need to leave. So
you urge Monique on with you to leave?
oh yeah, I'm not leaving without her. So
I need another manipulation or charisma and persuasion, Trey.
either or, you said.
Either or.
Okay.
And then while you and I roll, I'll hear the results of FIORENZA and Victor.
7 successes with a crit.
I got 4.
Oh.
Excellent.
Yeah.
5 successes.
The fear, Trey, is what you notice. Monique looks around, sees you, and sees the strange heat emanating off of the box. She grips your hand as Victor tackles FIORENZA down, pinning her. Hearing everything that's going on in the building, she looks and says, "He can handle himself. He'll be all right." But it doesn't sound like an affirmation. It sounds like a question, Trey. And what do you respond?
If Kane sees fit.
She gives Victor a final look. She grips your hand and you both run. Jason, in the hallway, running from Felix. What are you doing? What are your intentions?
I'm going towards the stairwell at a dead-on sprint, and if the door is already open, I'm going right over the railing and straight down.
And you do not have weight of the feather.
No, I'm going directly down. If I hit anything along the way, I mean, we'll see.
Dex Athletics, please.
Yes, sir.
What floor are we on?
The topmost.
Hey, if I need, I'm gonna rouse for this. Alright, that's a failure. Right? I'm gonna also spend another willpower. 9 successes, messy crit.
9 successes, messy crit. Jason, I have rolled 10 successes for Felix to tackle you, to stop your escape. I'd like to offer you the ability to win at a cost. It's a simple bargain. You'll run, you'll jump, You'll escape, Felix. You will fall. Down, down, down. You will hit the ground at full force, full impact. There will be no opportunity to try to grab a railing as you are descending. You will fall, and you will fall into torpor. And you will have to trust the Sabbat, those that you have fought alongside, to take pity and to drag your torpored carcass out of the combat area. Or we keep the 10 and the 9, and Felix grabs you. Would you like to take my bargain?
Put all the trust in King. I'll take that bargain.
You leap. You feel the claws tear at your back as you drop. You fall down, down, down. Falling is quick, despite what movies and television would have you believe. It's quick. And in moments, Jason, you are gone. Quiet. Combat means nothing to you as darkness descends and you fall into a sleep. FIORENZA, you are grappled. Before we go into our final round of combat, we will, again for the last time, start from the very top. EREBUS, all of this is happening very quickly. Weight of the Feather grants you some drift, we'll say. You don't fall nearly as fast as Jason. So it's entirely possible that as you are ready to exit the stairwell, you hear the crumpled mass, the body and bones break behind you. You can turn and see Jason.
I think Erebus just kind of cocks his head to the side for a moment. He's well connected. Those connections could be useful. And the Pishinobs had a passing interest in him. He could be a nice bargaining chip. I'll take him.
You take him.
Hide us both with Cloak the Gathering, which is 2 rouse checks. Which I'm currently at 0 hunger, because I killed that guy up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 successes, so I will not get any hungrier.
Excellent.
And the 2 of us will... Well, I'll toss Jason in the trunk of the car that we took here. And drive off.
Do this. And for your part, Trey, in a flash, if you and Monique are intending to exit this place and run, you would have seen Jason fall. Just as a note. Erebus, we have...
You said we both would have seen Jason fall?
Mm-hmm.
Just drop, right?
Just drop.
Okay.
We have Erebus's intentions. Let's break turn order a little bit. Let's see what you are up to, Trey. You want to see Jason drop? She stops for a moment and looks up and sees Felix screeching as this strange figure rushes up and sort of grabs onto the back of his neck, trying to put him in a sort of chokehold and gnaw at his neck, the jawline, the ear, the side of the skull. To no avail. What are your intentions?
You wouldn't happen be able to do the feather thing, would you?
No. But we can make our way on 4.
What did she say?
We can make our way on 4 legs.
All right. I'll follow suit. Unless you want to use Felix as a a bouncy mat.
Rather avoid Felix. So
I'll
you
change shape change.
You change. The two of you run down the stairwell. It's quicker on 4.
I'm a cat. I'm so
Indeed.
fast.
You are in this, especially in this regard, faster than Monique.
Parkour.
Fuck boy.
You run. And you see, as you run, you see Sabat and Camarilla. You see the children, Tenochtitlan.
I'll roar in the urge of leave. Now, run. Roar.
You command. No roll required, Trey. You bound down. It's gotten bad down here, Trey. Young packs, shovelheads. This is an assault, the likes of which you hadn't really seen. They've gotten very thorough, and there's a number of fires, as well as explosions that leave holes in the building. As you run, see glimpses as you go through the glass doors. Unmarked vans, painted black, open up, and there are heavily armored, heavily outfitted soldiers that step foot. They don't wear any patches, no GIGN, no FBI, no CIA. They wield very high-tech weaponry. They wear goggles that seem to change color with each movement. They move in. But you and Monique run. At the sight of this, so do many of the packs. This whole place is condemned. We return back to the rooftops, back to the clouds, high above the city. FIORENZA and Victor, for your last turn. What are your intentions?
I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna stake her.
With what, Victor?
The stake that I was given by EREBUS.
The very one that was in your very own heart. It's a cold shot, Victor. You'll need a margin of successes.
And I have
What are
her
you-
grappled, correct?
In this current moment, yes. FIORENZA, what are your intentions?
I think she's watching, like trying to still shove closer to the other chest. But she's watching Victor, the source of all of her issues over the past years. The time, the money, and just tells him, I know what they're going to do when they find my torpid corpse. Maybe your pack will save you. And then kind of looks around the room that's about to explode.
Is there any resistance, FIORENZA?
She has Knight's Bane.
I see. Victor, make your roll.
I don't know what Knight's Bane is, and
That's okay.
I don't really do combat with weapons. So what the hell is my role? Is it a melee role?
Be strength and melee, yes.
Shit.
Does a stake count as a weapon? Because I believe it does. Oh,
5.
5. Fiorenza didn't resist. Called shot is difficult. It finds purchase, Victor. In a sense, you feel it pierce through the clothing, piercing through the very expensive suit and the fine garb that Fiorenza wears. But it shatters against her skin. Now, you failed to stake Fiorenza Savannah. But this was the last bit. Fiorenza, he still has you grappled. What happens next happens to both of you. Tell me, Fiorenza Savannah, what happens next?
their chest has been getting to a boiling point. It starts to smell like burnt vitae and destruction. I'm not entirely sure what exactly those thin bloods do to make this concoction. But as Alejandra's body becomes a bomb, it rips through everything in this room. An explosion of vitae and ash.
Fiorenza and Victor, close by the would-be bishop's own strength, you erupt in an explosion, a concussive blast that destroys the top of this penthouse. Windows shatter. An eruption of flame as electricity meets fluids it never was meant to come in contact with. A symphony finally reaching its crescendo as Mexico City cries out. TREY and EREBUS, as you absconded from this building, you look up where the bishop once was, where Victor BELLSHANE is a collapsing top of a building, falling now to the city streets. Glass and metal and stone. It's over. It's finally over, this war. Looking at everything now, the two of you are left to wonder who really won. The prince and the bishop, gone as darkness takes the city. This is where we end this season of Book of Saints. Thank you all very much for playing. And thank you all for being here. We're going to go around the room, let everyone know your pertinence, starting with Fiorenza Savannah.
Oh, hello. I have been Fiorenza Savona. Thank you so much for inviting me to be. Oh, I'm Az. I'm also Az. That's like who I am as a person. As I was social media. I do that sometimes. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Let's jump over to our survivor, EREBUS Kai.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Avery, at Avery DuBois on all the social medias. You can catch me doing stuff and things because I fancy myself as something of an internet personality. And this evening, perhaps for the final time, who knows, I've played the slick surviving serpent. Erebus guy.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump over to our survivor question mark. Jason.
Hello, hi. I've been playing Jason Dorn, and it's been a pleasure being here. And I do hope I somehow survive with this man. Wow, great time. And I'm lost for words, but I loved every moment of it.
Thank you for being here. Let's take a look at another confirmed survivor, Trey.
Yeah, Edge Survival, aka Edge the Nomad, playing TREY. Hopefully not for the last time, but for now. Had a lot of fun, and yeah.
Thank you for being here. Let's go over to our would-be bishop, Victor BELLSHANE.
Hello, I'm Warren, also the Demons Within. I've been playing Victor BELLSHANE. It's been a pleasure doing this chronicle with everybody, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed playing it. Be the last time you hear from Victor BELLSHANE. Thank you.
It's
To
been
the
an
bishop
absolute-
for a night.
To the bishop for a night. I, of course, have been your storyteller, Gilbert Ramos. And rest assured, friends, I have made it very clear this episode that this is merely the season finale. We will be taking a very long break, most likely, from Book of Saints. Likely just due to scheduling issues, shifting in life, but this will not be the last time you see the Saints. When you least expect them, when you may have forgotten them, the Saints will find you in the shadows. They will drag you in. They will pull you into their story, as they have many other Cainite and many other kindred. This is not the end of the Saints. This is just the closing of a chapter. We thank you very much for being here. We will see you all sooner than you think. Take care.